Welcome to Marketecture, where you can get smart fast with in-depth interviews of leading technology vendors. I am Eric Seufert, and I am here with Mike Yabondidi, the CEO of Yieldmo. Mike, how are you? Thanks for joining me.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so we'll start off with something of a softball question. What does Yieldmo do?
Well, thanks for the question. Yieldmo is a two-sided marketplace, an ad exchange, and an SSP. And we built a full stack of technology with differentiation in the area of creative and data.
So what does your product do? How does it work exactly?
We're building what we call a smart exchange. It wasn't so smart when we started about 12 years ago. When we first started, candidly, we were building a very sort of tech-heavy ad network. And within a few years, started innovating on the creative level, but always with an eye on optimization and creative optimization and that sort of thing. Ultimately, we realized that in a programmatic world, you can't just build creative and an ad network and be a part of the future in advertising. And so around year 3, we started building what you would call an exchange. But one of the things that we did early on is, in our pursuit to build the best mobile creative in the world, we started building our own proprietary measurement system, which is highly unusual for an exchange to build. And that led to a bunch of decisions that we made that made us look pretty different from the other companies.
I'd love to unpack that a little bit more. Like, what were those decisions around that time period? Are you talking like 2015-ish?
Yeah, we do a lot with animation, a lot with video. We have, for instance, you probably have seen like a parallaxic type ad format that looks like the animation in the format changes as you scroll up and down on the page. We are the inventors of that. We hold 5 patents just on that one innovation. And when you're doing that, when you're inventing that sort of thing in 2013, 2014, you yearn to know how humans are interacting with that novel form of animation. And so you look at ways to measure human interaction at the URL level or page level. And when you start to look around for tools to be able to do that, you realize that there are deficiencies in these tools, and you have to roll your own, essentially call it baby measurement system, which we started doing in 2014, 2015. We started tracking things like scrolling behavior, and most people would assume that there's only 2 different types of scrolling behavior, up and down. But we have 7 different types of scrolling behavior. And we started looking at things like what happens if a human scrolls up and down past an ad multiple times, changes direction multiple times, changes speeds multiple times, but keeps going up and down past the ad itself. Is there a correlation between that behavior and downstream benefits like brand lift or attention or engagement? And when we started to realize early on that there was actually a correlation between those behaviors and the downstream benefit of, say, lift or engagement, we knew we were onto something and kind of off to the races from there.
That's interesting because, a lot of players in the ad space now are trying to extract that kind of signal from the on-site interactions, right, which are first party, given the privacy changes. So it sounds like you were pretty far ahead of the curve there. If that was 2013, 14, 15.
That's correct. We added another 130 different types of events to the scrolling behavior events. And then we added a layer of machine learning to try to figure out which events should be collected where and why, and how many should be collected and how many should be communicated to the server, et cetera, et cetera. So just building that layer took almost a year.
Fascinating. What category would you say that you compete in?
We're in the exchange business and the SSP business. To us, anybody that controls supply is a competitor.
And who would you consider to be your most direct competitors?
Of course, Google is everyone's biggest competitor because they control the most supply. But like I said, anybody that is in between buyers and sellers or in between demand and supply is a competitor.
But only SSP and exchange side, right?
Yeah, we're fundamentally a publisher side company, but we also have built a number of tools on the demand side. So we view ourselves as two-sided, but the publisher side is where we anchor.
Thanks for listening. To hear the complete interview, subscribe at marketecture.tv.